Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to today's episode. Today is episode number 80. We've got 20 more for the big one. Excuse me. The date is the 6th of May, so 2 days after May the 4th be with you. And it's also going to be our episode all about the world of QuickBooks updates, Zero updates, and some life updates as well. So my name is Aaron Patrick, and with me, as always, my co-host, Johann. Johann, how has your weekend been?
Good morning. Yeah, very good actually. I had a fairly productive weekend. I've put up curtain rails and curtains and done some gloss work. Lots of DIY. Didn't get all the outdoor fence painted like I wanted because bank holiday in Scotland equals rain. But yeah, so got all of that done and then sat and watched Lando Norris absolutely whoop Max Verstappen's backside by a good 7 seconds. It wasn't like a close win or anything. It was a sit down, Max. So yeah, I had a very good weekend. Thank you. How was yours?
Yeah, very similar, very similar. Got lots of done. We've got some busy weeks ahead of us, so I needed to kind of get head down, get some stuff done. But you're right, like that race yesterday. It's almost a shame though that it was late at night because it could have. I think more people will watched it if it was the normal, typical 1 o'clock start and everything else. But what a race! What a race! I think I've written that whole weekend off after the sprint, so I was sat there going, "Oh, this is going to be another one of those." But no, you're right. You absolutely smashed it. And for anyone who's listening on the pod, I'm proudly wearing my Lando Norris shirt. So yeah, it's all good. And what was it? 110, 111 races he's done without winning. So we're going up there. And when you look at the two above him, a certain person called Jensen Button and another person called Nico Rosberg, who both went on to win the world title. So is that a good omen? Could that be?
Yeah,
could that be a good omen?
When the commentating team kept going on last night about, oh, this is his first win and stuff, I thought, hang on a minute, that can't be right. Like, he's been on that podium enough times and stuff, but no, it was his first win, and you just think he deserved that such a long time ago because he's such a good racer. But the bit I really loved about it all was just the amount of sportsmanship going on. Like all the other drivers coming over, congratulating him, celebrating him, and all the media were there, and all of his team were there, and it was probably the best end of a race that I've seen this season. Because for the whole season, it's been Max, yay, right, okay, fine. And I mean, even Max seemed to stand there looking a bit baffled, like, what's all this about? What's going on here?
I mean, fair play to him.
Popular Max.
Well, fair play to him. He actually was humble in everything that he said. I think he was generally pleased.
I think he's been training for weeks for
that. Yeah. Well, it paid off because he came across as actually, half decent for the first time this season. So that was a miracle in itself, right?
His girlfriend's daughter coming along to the last race to try and get him to look relatively human and compassionate. Right. Yeah, I think they're working hard on his lack of personal brand, shall we say.
But he did also ended the conversation by telling everyone that he was gutted that Silverstone wasn't his first win, but he aims to do everything he can to win at Silverstone. So, I mean, come on,
can't wait.
If
we'll be there cheering him on,
exactly. If that happens, I'm not sure we'll have a podcast the next day. Put it that way, because none of us will have voices left. Anyway,
right. Anyway, we're on Ask the Accountant, not Ask the F1 Expert. So.
Yeah. So first of all, we've got in our list here is Intuit have invited me down to Parliament tomorrow. You're going to London as well. I don't know if you're allowed to talk about it or not, but so we're both in London tomorrow. I'm in Parliament to talk about MTD and go through all of the. There's a new MTD white paper and everything else. I'm not allowed to talk about anything else other than that. So yeah, it's interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what they've got to say, seeing what their excuses are, seeing what, I'm
working on it.
for parliamentary answers to some of my questions, put it that way. Yeah, so we'll see that. I mean, it's definitely going to be a topic that we both have been passionate about for a long time. So it's going to be an interesting exercise, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm allowed to talk about it in next week's show, because we don't get the opportunity to peek behind the curtains like this very often, do we? What are you in?
No, we don't. And I think they'd be silly not to let you talk about it, if I'm honest. I know QuickBooks will probably want some sensitivity around it, but I would hope that HMRC and the government would let you talk about it so that they can be seen as transparent, open, and in dialogue with people trying to use the tool. Because at the moment, it seems very ring-fenced to just the government and HMRC dealing with it, and we've not really got any confidence that they're taking any of the feedback on board at the moment. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I would hope they see this as an opportunity for you to then go out and actually go reassure us, as it were, or go, yeah, you know what, guys, we've got a problem coming up here. Brace yourself.
I mean, ironically, and I think I'm right saying this a little bit, but ironically, they mentioned coconut as one of kind of the positives of MTD. So I'm not sure they're fully up to date with how that's happened.
The software that went nearly shut down had to be brought out, and has been running on life support since because of MTD not happening.
So we'll see how that goes. Like, yeah, I mean, I definitely want to dig into that a little bit more. So there, but are you allowed to say what you're in London for?
Yeah, I am going down to London for lunch. There and back again for lunch. I'm not going to lie, it's quite a long way to go for lunch.
Yeah, do you know? Have you ever heard of Uber Eats?
I heard LNER is more reliable and quicker. But yeah, so I'm going to go down to London to meet Amy and Elizabeth from the ICB for lunch and have a chat. Don't really know what I'm chatting about to them. It's all basically they've got in touch, asked if I'll go down and meet them and have some lunch. It was a empty day in my diary, so I said yes. I can work from the train for 4 hours each way. That's not an issue. And I'll probably get quite more productive day from the train where I'm not being interrupted all the time. So yeah, I'm sitting on the train tomorrow morning, first thing, down to London, having lunch with Amy and Elizabeth from the ICB, and then getting the train back. So,
ooh, interesting. So, yeah, watch this space then for news tomorrow. Hopefully, or not tomorrow, next week. So hopefully,
the weirdest part is I don't really know which hat I'm wearing, why I'm there.
Surely you're there for client engager. Come on.
Well, we don't know. Like, I've spoken to him in the past about Ask the Accountant. I've spoken to him about client engager. We've had long talks about AML and the inefficiency of their current system requiring them to use the ICB system. Like, I don't know quite what we're going to talk about. I don't know what's on the agenda, but I'm always happy to go somewhere for lunch. So,
yeah. Do you know where? Is it somewhere nice?
I do know where it is. They've sent me a link, and I cannot remember from.
It didn't pop out as like, well, okay, yeah, cool.
Well, no, it looks really good. I just can't remember the name.
Fair play.
So, yeah.
Before we go any further, I really should talk about our amazing people who've turned up on a bank holiday Monday, just in case you thought we went live. Well, we talked about Lando, so hopefully that helps. Kirsty's here. Good morning, Kirsty. On my way to IKEA. Whoa, now that is a proper bank holiday Monday ritual, isn't it?
Bank holiday Monday, that is.
Yeah, you're properly taking it there. Enjoy the hot dogs or the
meatballs.
Meatballs, yeah, depends on which one you go for, what your preference is, but yeah, and definitely get a dime bar cake. That's my favorite bit from IKEA, the dime bar cake. Oh, sensational. Paul's here as well. Morning, good morning, Paul. Another Paul's here. Good morning, Paul. How are you doing? Good morning to you too. And Kirsty, obviously excited about the ICB news.
Natasha Everard is on Instagram watching us there.
Oh, excellent. Oh, yeah. We've got, and Hancock Hastings on mine as well. Good morning, Amy here listening in. Good morning, Amy. Hopefully you're having a good day. And yeah, if you haven't already, make sure you listen to her podcast. Right. So that was Parliament. Intuit inviting me over to talk MTD. You're going to be in London in the big smoke talking ICB in some capacity. We just don't know what yet. But while we're on the topic of Intuit, something big happened in the world of Intuit this week. recertification for the UK went live. I was obviously heavily involved this time around. It is kind of probably my baby, I'd say, in terms of it's every single year I've been involved with recertification from day dot, and always had some sort of involvement in getting it together. But this time round, there was challenges, as you can imagine, especially with the fact that the topic I really wanted to put in now hadn't or has still yet to properly go live yet. So that was always a challenge for recertification. But we were able to put together the content, get it all done and dusted, talk about much more than just fonts, which is always good to see, and had an opportunity to create a exam that can't be passed by AI alone. So that's positive, I would say. How many digs can I put in one statement? So yeah. So yeah, it was good. What about yourself? Have anyone from your team, have they got any feedback? Have they all done it now? Going forward?
Not everyone's done it in the team yet. We've done a few of the team have done it, and like they've been doing it while things were happening. So it's like, right, I'll redo my recertification whilst I can't access this type thing.
Yeah.
So,
well, ironically, QuickBooks was down on Friday, so it was a perfect time to do it.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, that was the reason one of my team did it. It's like, can't get into QuickBooks, I'll do the recertification. It's like, cool, okay. I like the initiative.
Planned.
So yeah, no, some of my team have done it. Most of them have done the webinars already, and they'll just do the certification when they get half an hour to an hour free, probably this week. We had quite a lot of change in our firm last week. So we had 3 new trainees start and a new payroll lead and a new client manager.
Wow.
So lots going on in the firm. So people were busy doing that and supporting and training people. So yeah, this week and next week, they'll get the recertifications done, hopefully.
Interesting. I mean, that's a big change. That's a huge amount of change. So, wow. Yeah. It was interesting to see everyone kind of jump on the incentive bandwagon as well. It's amazing what a bit of swag can do. So I know that was all acquired within the first hour. So that was good to see.
So Cheryl on the comments from YouTube would like to know how do they know if they were one of the first 300?
You should be getting something in the by the end of this week, I think, is when it's due out. So keep an eye out for the post. I mean, we've still not got our monopoly, so
it's been monopolized by others.
Yeah, exactly. So, who knows when or if it's going to turn up anytime soon. But yeah, we'll see. So 100% by Paul as well. So that's good to see. Good morning as well, Shell. Good morning to you. And yeah, as we said, it should be by the end of the week. We're hoping for. But yeah, seems to be going well. This has been one of the first ones where we've not had any controversies, which is good to see. No one complaining that question
A. Had me not do it.
Well, we don't. Probably best we don't talk about that bit. But this is the first one where I remember not kind of seeing on the forums that question X, Y, or Z was, contentious, which is good to see. So yeah, so good all round. With that though, not only was the QuickBooks recertification going live, which is great to see, love to see that going forward. But also we had a brand new version of QuickBooks go live. I mean, this gets exciting, doesn't it? I mean, last time something new from QuickBooks went live, we got in trouble by the legal team. So we did well this time. No, not getting involved. Well, I got one telling off. Apparently I was too early in announcing it. But if it's available it's our same old argument, right? If it's available just to go in and actually get off publicly, I'm sure people should be aware of it.
How many times have we told them about this? Like, if something can be found on their website publicly, then you can't restrict any of us talking about it. No. If that upsets you, sort out your timelines.
Yeah. I mean, they always do like a staged release, don't they? So they do like 20% this and 20% that and all that sort of stuff. And it's available 20% of the population or whatever the number's going to be. And that's fair enough. And that is something that we, take on board with and kind of understand, and we can kind of figure out if that's, if that's going to be available to all our clients or just a handful. And there's always kind of so those sort of announcements, kind of fair enough, right? Like when it's not fully available to everyone and it's a bit of a lottery
Also,
ticket.
like, it's not like we didn't know this was coming. They've been talking about it since the roadshow last year. Like, it's coming, it's coming. It's like, cool. So the moment it hits the website, it's no surprise to anyone it's coming. Like, I'm currently working with a new partner for Client Engager and on timelines, and we've got a huge spreadsheet, well, Google Sheet, and it's got, we're going to do this, this is whose responsibility it is. Like, it's all perfectly crafted. And you know what? Funnily enough, none of the website content or the blogs or anything we're doing on either side of the partnership go live until after we make the announcement. It's like, how difficult is it for QuickBooks to go, that's the website, that's going to go live there, well, we better announce it there. Like, I'm not a marketing expert, but yeah, they can't gag you while they're, just because they can't get their ducks in a row.
True, but I think the biggest problem with this one is the delays, isn't it? And it seems to be an ongoing issue at the moment, isn't it? With anything that's coming out, and a lot of the software's developments, other than Client Engage, obviously, but everyone else.
We're having our issues.
But everyone else, it just seems at the moment it's just delay after delay after delay. And it causes a little bit of problems when people are trying to do education around it, like the training, when we're trying to do recertification around it. Like, again, General Ledger was supposed to be a part and parcel of the recertification this year. It was one of the first bits that was in there, the draft stage, but we had to pull it because we had no firm date when it was going to be live and everything that went with it. And those knock-on effects means that however many people have gone to research now don't have that knowledge of General Ledger going live,
and won't for the next year.
Exactly. We couldn't really talk about payroll bureau because there's still issues there. You know what I mean? Again, another year goes by until that general populace gets informed about it.
How many times have we been told that's going live this month?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's technically live. It's just not working on all 4 cylinders, and it's like, yeah, it's not something that people want to be jumping on at this point in time, unfortunately. So, but General Ledger, positive is the fact it's out there. So great to see. We've got it out there. It's for people to go and download and play around with now. We'll obviously do a much more in-depth review of it on QuickBooks Labs, because that's we can go in to talk about the nitty-gritty of it there. So if you are interested in what General Ledger can do, go through now. And I would imagine the best thing for us to do during that is to talk about use cases for it, right? Like, let's go through where do you use it, what you use it for, and everything else.
Yeah.
But for anyone who isn't aware of what Ledger is, basically going to be the simplest version of QuickBooks possible, accountant only, and is designed to be there so that a client who doesn't typically have QuickBooks for one reason or another, you can bring them into QuickBooks, into their ecosystem. So it has access to the work papers, it has access to the accounts production solution and ProTax and everything else, and it goes through from there. It's got a few kind of quirky elements to it at the moment. I've got a feeling that they definitely want to iron that out pretty soon. I've got a video going live tomorrow on my normal Tuesday slot, talking about warts and all. So it's kind of going through the good, bad, and the ugly.
Are you sure you got your timing right?
Funnily enough, I've done that enough times, so yeah, we should be all right on that one. But yeah, if I follow QuickBooks' timing system, it won't go live at the right time, will it? But overall, I'm glad it's out. It's just one of those things again where if you're going to delay it like they have done, then you want it to come out spotless, right? Like, that's the thing. You can forgive delays. And especially in my, one of the things I love more than anything is that, listening to the world of computer games and all the stories and everything into that. That's like one of my favorite pastimes, right? Now, I don't get to play games as often anymore, but I still love listening to the industry and how that's going and everything else. And with them, if there's a delay, then everyone's always a little bit like frustrated and upset and everything, because no one likes delays. But they know that the delay means it's going to be a better product overall. And there's kind of an unspoken rule, right? If you're going to delay something, let's make sure when it comes out, it's it's absolutely spot on. So it's a little bit frustrating that there's still just gaps that weren't considered, and it's and none of it's like, well, a couple of them are kind of thingy breaking. I'm sure they'll get fixed soon, but the others are just like just tardiness. Like, there's still an opportunity for you to click on a menu, but because that menu is not activated in General Ledger, because again it's the lowest level, so it doesn't have all the features available, then it just errors out, right? Those sort of things, they should have already been taken away and just cleaned
Did
up.
it not go through beta testing or something?
Well, apparently it did, but I mean, I've already come across 12 plus issues and problems and everything else. So yeah, maybe they're just not beta testing to the right people. I don't know. But yeah. I mean, that's what the accounting council was supposed to be around for, right? Like, we were going to go
I've
ahead.
not been invited to beta test it.
No, none of the accounting council members have. So yeah, so that's a shame.
The time we were shown it, it was very much it was an online Zoom session, so we were shown it, and there wasn't much time to dig around and feedback on it or anything.
Yeah, and it wasn't a live product there anyway.
No.
I mean, the another frustrating thing is this has been live in the US for years now. Well, I say years, probably 6 months or so. Maybe look, no, it might even be a year. That General Ledger's been over, or Ledger's been over there in the US. So
yeah,
yeah, it's out, which is a good thing. It's got bugs at the moment, but that'll get fixed over time. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what the uptake is and what people like of it, because Xero's had this product in their ecosystem for a while, haven't they? Like 3
yeah. I mean,
years.
Xero's had this since day one, from what I remember.
Was it day one? Was it really?
I've been in the industry since 2017, and they've had it in product since then. Like, it always baffled me why QuickBooks didn't have a ledgers option. And whenever you speak to the QuickBooks like account managers and stuff, whenever they're trying to convince new people to sign up to QuickBooks, like new accountants and bookkeepers, they always get it thrown back at them and like, well, you don't have a ledger, so Xero is actually cheaper because not all my clients need access. So like, they were always like, well, our licenses are cheaper at wholesale than Xero. It's like, they are, but they're not comparable because you don't have this ledger section, which is £1, £2, £3 a month. Like, so yeah, I imagine for the account managers trying to sign up new business for QuickBooks, this is going to be a huge tool in their toolbox to help get people on board and signed off. So yeah, I don't know. It bugs me that it's taken them, because in effect, what we're saying here is it's taken them 7 years to recognize it from Xero and replicate it. And what you're saying is they've not done a very good job of it either. Like, it's been delay,
Yeah.
and then you're still picking basic errors, I would argue.
I think I'm also the worst person to look at it, right? Because I know the product inside and out, so I can spot.
You're the best person.
Well, yeah, maybe.
But why are we giving it to non or light users to test it when they won't go in and test it to the full?
Yeah. It's like asking someone to update the working papers and just go and ask someone who's hardly uses it and just tells them to take away XYZ, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like,
everyone agreed with apart from you. But yeah, like, it's like client engager. Like, I mean, that kind of test that wouldn't have got through Peter's testing, like for a non-clickable link before.
Yeah.
Then it would come to myself and Andy to test in firm and Ash to test on the demo account. And the reason we put it through mine and Andy's first is because we've got big teams. Our teams are going to use this to such a level and such an intensity that a lot of firms might not be if they were smaller.
Yeah.
So we're more likely to spot any bugs or hiccups. There's still the occasional one that gets through. Don't get me wrong, because there's some weird edge fringe case where actually, if you do this, and then do this, actually it won't work.
And that's why if you had a beta testing group that's and I know Client Engager has it's not a beta test, is it? But there's like a group that gets to have a quick look at it. There's a varied amount of of people in that, right? And for a reason. You've got your one-man band, you've got your bigger firms, you've got everything else, because that's the only way that if they can have a quick kick of the can sort of scenario and kick the tires and see what's happening, they're more likely going to find any issues or problems. And most of the time it's down to the fact that, I don't know, Microsoft or Google's got some random little thing that stops it from doing XYZ, isn't it? And
that's it. And we're still like, you know what, we celebrated at the end of this week. It's the first week we've not had a blooming report of a Google bug since we've linked to Google 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, it's just weird. But we still have like anomalies. Like, we get bug reports that, oh, Microsoft's not pulling through all the folders. It's like, well, actually, that's not a us thing. That's a Microsoft API thing. So yeah, testing's never going to be perfect, but non-clickable links, I would suggest, should have been solved before release. Like, all that would have taken is for them to organize some Zoom sessions and have set out a list of tasks and go, right, can you do this? Right, can you do it? Oh, hang on, there's an error here. Like, I mean, they could have done that themselves, but yeah,
But sometimes the people themselves, they don't know the product enough, as in they might see a button there,
or
but
they don't know, they don't understand the application in practice. That's
So, you know, there's so many big teams that work on a product like QuickBooks that there's not going to be someone in that industry in that room that's going to know every single aspect of it, right? Like, they probably know their bit. They're a subject matter expert to receipt capture, for example, but they don't know how the other bits work, like recurring entries or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the problem, isn't it? It's such a vast product that they need people outside of it to come in and kick the tires. That's what happened, isn't it?
What was broken then that was so bad they had to delay the release so often.
And
they've still got non-clickable links.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it?
That's the bit that worries me.
Unless it was just purely functionality, it wasn't, you couldn't provision the license or something, that was the reason, right? That goes through, because that's pretty fundamental to getting the license in the first place, is to be able to click the button and provision it, right? So potentially it was something like that was the big issue. But you're right, it does make you wonder that if they had to delay it, why not delay it? Because the only bit that frustrates me a little bit is the fact that I understand that third-party apps, and it's great that, like, one of the benefits of the ledger is the fact that you have access, in theory, to your app ecosystem. So think of the use cases there, right? You've got the opportunity to bring on any client that you want into the QuickBooks ecosystem and the app ecosystem as well. So in theory, it doesn't quite work yet, and I'm sure they'll look into it. But in theory, you get a paper, you get a client who brings in a load of bags of receipts. You send it to Apron because the API is connected. In one day, hopefully that'll all come through. Doesn't quite work at the moment because of a limitation, but that's not technically on Apron or Intuit. That's just part and parcel of this weird setup they've got, right? But what frustrates me is that the QuickBooks own apps aren't compatible properly with it. They're giving issues. They're having problems getting the things in. And that's the bit where you go, again, just having a quick look at it. If you had to delay it because of that, people could understand, right? So that's where we're at the moment. But on a positive note, this opens up, if you were going to start up a whole new practice now and you're starting from day one, Sage is a great opportunity for you because you've got that wonderful ecosystem. I think this brings QuickBooks into that ecosystem of one of the best.
That's why I was saying, like, for the new business team, this is going to be phenomenally powerful because they've gone, well, no, we've got this as well. Like, that's huge for them.
So whatever the price ends up settling out, let's say it's £1.50, £3, £2, whatever it comes out at, like, in the end, right? If you could have started your practice at the very beginning and known that for whatever that price point is, that's going to be you're going to have opportunity to file your tax returns, file your accounts, put everything through from there. That's huge, right? Like, that's a really scalable model than going to, some of the others, because some of the others, they want, annual commitments. They want, I'm talking about the accounts production solutions and everything else, annual commitments, or they want, large setup fees or something. It's a real barrier to entry for when you're first starting out, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now with tax filing not being available, and it's Iris Elements, which hasn't gone well for most people. This really, like, if you were starting today from scratch, I think you're in a really good position. Yes, QuickBooks needs to release the full version of the accounts production software, and they need to release the personal tax side of things, but we know it's in the workflow. We know it's been worked on, so it'll be there in time, won't it? So that's not a bad little starting point for any practice, is it?
Like, my profitability from day one of a startup would have been dramatically different.
Yeah.
And I think my efficiency levels would have been improved as well, actually. So yeah, no, if I can go from ledger right through to tax filing, then fantastic.
Yeah, because
it's going in the right direction.
Yeah, because even for me, like Bothic's 100% digital. There's not a single piece of paper goes past the practice, right? But my other firm, Apple Core, which is only a small one, I've got friends and family who still just send me over a box of records, right? And I spend my Sunday, or yesterday, I was just there in front of the telly, just putting numbers into a spreadsheet, right? And even for me, the idea that going forward, once it's all lined out and I can just stick that in and put that through there, it's not about profitability at that point. It's about just making it worth my time. And you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I'm doing it mostly for a favor, right? Like, it's not about trying to make money at this point. But if I can shave hours off that time, then suddenly it's not such a big commitment, right? And it's just me being efficient with it. So yeah, I'm excited for use cases to start coming a case. I think there's still work to be done in terms of making it efficient as possible, but yeah, I'm excited for it. Excited to see where it goes. And yeah, maybe should look into Zero Ledger more. Maybe there's going to be more to talk into there. Right, so that was Intuit's general ledger launching. Let's just make sure we've not got any more comments to talk about. Susan's joined. Good morning, Susan. Happy Bank Holiday Monday. And Paul says maybe they could consider early access versions like the games do on Steam. Exactly. I think if there was an opportunity, we can happily, have that early access option for them. But yeah, at the moment,
the challenge is, it sounds like they have had the early access available for beta testers.
Yeah,
and have the beta testers. I mean, it might be those beta testers have said this link doesn't go anywhere; it just errors out, and they've just not fixed it yet.
Yeah,
or are the beta testers really the best suited people? A lot of people want to be beta testers just for the badge, as it were. I do beta testing for them. It's like, and then never actually use or do anything for it. So like, I get offered quite a lot of beta testing from QuickBooks, and if I'm busy or my team's busy, or if it's a feature we don't really use, then I say no, because I don't feel like I can give them the value that they need from their beta testers.
Yeah, exactly right.
But a lot of people aren't like that. They just, give me access so they can brag about it. Then they don't actually properly test it.
Yeah.
Or they test it in such a narrow visioned way, whereas actually you need to be quite a broad viewpoint to be able to test something as a beta. So maybe
without the training, without all the support. Yeah, exactly. That's what makes it as a proper one, doesn't it? Is the fact that they've got that opportunity to, that as a beta tester, is that opportunity to be able to do it in their own way, almost without having the training. Because anyone can get some training, do recertification, and go in and use a product. It's, well, what if that training was taken away from you? How would you adapt it? And sometimes the best thing you can do there is go about it a completely different way than what it was intended to do. Because that's the bit where they go, oh, we hadn't considered that bit. We hadn't considered doing there. So,
and that's the beauty of the little beta testing group we've got for Client Engager of myself, Andy, and Ash. Ash has worked in big firms in the past, like Crunch. He's also done it as a kind of sole practitioner side of things. So he's out there testing it as it's just him, no team. I'm testing it, and the way my team operate and the way Andy's team operates are two very different things. So actually, in that beta testing group, we know all three of us live and breathe that product day and night. Like all of our teams have it on one monitor at all times, so we know we're gonna do the 90% of the testing without any problems. Like there's always these fringe cases of, well, I want to track time like this, and it's like, well, that's not really how it's been built.
Yeah,
like that wasn't the mindset we had when we built it. But yeah, whilst we've got, well, if we were just giving it out to any random person to beta test, we couldn't guarantee they would be doing it to a high enough level. Yeah. And then we release it and it turns out to be faulty, which then ends up with two grumpy gits on a Monday morning on a podcast saying how crap it is.
I'm not saying it's crap. I'm just disappointed. Again, it's this
quality control.
It reminds me all over again of Advance, right? That's the last one we can compare it to.
Yep.
And I'll always remember with Advance being the fact that there was excitement for it. We've finally got this new product that is out here, and then it's like, but then it's like, it's almost like you're caveating your excitement, right? Like there's a new software, ooh, however, and it's that however bit that's frustrating, because it could easily be sorted, right? That's what I was assumed for the whole Camden Council and everything else that's been built. It's designed to make sure these sort of things don't happen, right? And yeah, it's unfortunately gone through well, not gone through the same ways as we expected. Okay. Paul says the difference between beta and early access is generally NDA and limited users versus open to user product books. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, with that one, I suppose with QuickBooks, the beta test and everything else, yes, there's NDAs involved in it and everything else, but yeah, I suppose the appetite for them to have early access or put they used to have a whole section called QuickBooks Labs, right? Like that was their early access and that was there for them, but that got killed because not enough people were going in there and actually turning the feature on in the first place. So yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Okay, cool. I suppose at least with beta testers, you can almost control them a little bit more, can't you? Xero, let's talk about them then. So we talked about QuickBooks for majority of the beginning of the day. Xero's had a very strange update in Australia, and the question really comes as, well, if they're going to do this in Australia, we'll explain what that is in a minute, does that mean it's coming to UK as well? Does that mean we should expect the same? So basically Xero has raised its prices in Australia for the second time in 12 months by an average of 13% or across almost all of its plans. Amid the price rises, which are effective from the 1st July, Xero has renamed and repackaged its 3 cheapest and most popular plans. In every case, the new plan is more expensive and has fewer features than its predecessor. And that's the scary bit, right? The price hike is going to happen. We're going to accept it, right? And they're all going to go up, and every single one of them is going to have a price hike at some point. Fair enough. But they can't take away features, surely.
I can't use a calculator. Hang on.
What are you doing?
So if you take their £35 a month plan at the moment,
yes,
which I believe is their standard plan before any Xero partner discounts.
Yeah. So in comparison to this, their starter in Australian dollars is also, it went from $32 to $35.
Yeah. So that 13% increase, that's going from 35 to just short of 40 quid a month.
Yeah.
And they're going to reduce the product offering.
Because I mean, the Australian prices are crazy. From starter, it goes to standard. What's our standard roughly? Can you?
Well, that was our standard, was 35. What's their standard? Okay.
So their standard's $70.
Well, what? I don't know. Excuse me, while I Google how many Australian dollars it is to a pound.
But then their premium, which is their highest one, goes all the way up to 245. So,
well, to be fair, $1 Australian is 53 pence at the moment.
Okay, so halve it. Right. Okay. So okay.
$70 for their standard is in line with £35 a month for the UK.
Agreed. But premium being 90, so is that about right for us?
45? Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
But like to go from £35 a month to £39.55 a month just for the bookkeeping software, and you're going to lose features. So what features have they stripped out of that? Do we know?
This is the bit I just don't understand what they're doing. Like, there seems to be. I'm trying to find these. I had a comparison.
Don't tell me we can't choose which font we want to use anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They're reducing like how many invoices and bills and stuff they're allowed to send. The mileage and everything is all being taken away, and now on a paid for option. A lot of the payroll functionality is gone, like superannuation, so the pension side, and projects and stuff is the optional bit's been increased in cost. So yeah, it looks like it's more than anything. It's that whole, and I've never liked it. Like this whole idea that you've got, it's gatekeeping, isn't it? It's gatekeeping how much you can. Oh no, they've completely got rid of expenses and mileage. Sorry, that's gone. You can't even pay for it now. It was optional before and it's gone. But most of it is down to the fact that they're gatekeeping how many invoices and bills you can put on, which is I've always found odd. I found it a really odd pricing strategy. Because it makes that lowest one, which doesn't even seem that cheap anyway, at $35 or whatever the equivalent's going to be.
£17.50, 18 quid a month.
But that doesn't seem that cheap when you're allowed to put 20 invoices and 5 bills on it.
No,
that's not cheap, because how many of those clients does that fit? Like, that's the contractors, maybe, and even them, I'd argue that they need more bills and invoices at that point, surely.
Yeah, surely you like, because so what we're saying there is the Zero starter is targeting the free agent clientele basically there, because free agent does really well with contractors. Like consultants and contractors love free agent. It's a fantastic bit of kit for them.
Yeah.
So Zero's coming in challenging that, and they've got the ratios the wrong way around of bills to invoices. Oh dear.
I mean, if it was 5 invoices and 20 bills, that's still shocking, but at least that makes sense, right? Like, that's
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Back to the original question: do we think this is coming to the UK? I would 100%. Suggest it will be here within weeks. Do we think they're going to put it off until after ZeroCon just to try and keep the?
Or is that the big announcement, ZeroCon? Don't you worry, we're changing starter to Ignite. Which is starter's now going to be called Ignite, and because the new names are Ignite, Grow, and Comprehensive.
Comprehensively expensive, like comprehensive school.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, like, is that going to be announced before ZeroCon, and they all get moaned at for price increases during ZeroCon? Do they try and pretend it's not going to happen and announce it after ZeroCon? But then the likes of you and me are going around telling everyone it's coming, so you may as well start moaning at them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. And the thing is, it's not like it's just a direct-to-market issue here. Like when QuickBooks puts their prices up on their website, or down, or whatever they're doing, it has no impact on us because we know what our prices are as a wholesale level.
Yeah.
And they only change once a year. And when they do change, they go up £1 a month. Like, it's not groundbreaking for me. Like, I've told my account manager to stop worrying about ringing me and telling me about it because it's a non-issue. Like, he always rings and goes, "Oh, bad news, I'm afraid. In 3 months' time, your price is going to go up £1 a month for license." It's like, it's not bad news. I knew it was coming. It's the standard behavior from QuickBooks, and I build it into my pricing that I know at this point in the year that's going to go up £1 a license.
And I suppose the only thing you've got to be able to do is be able to be agile on that pricing, right? Like, so it's all well and good that you can say that you're going to change your pricing, but how easy is that going to be replicated in your next run of invoices, right?
Yeah.
If that's going to take you 20 hours to do it, the question is it worth it? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean at that point? But if you can get it done in 5 minutes, and everyone's done and dusted, if you've got the right tools in place and the right process in place, then actually you pass it to the client and they can either accept it or they don't, because there's always options for them, right? If suddenly that increase is too much for your client, either you can offer a bigger discount to kind of subsidize it, or you find them another bit of software, can't you? That's
it.
That's how it works.
Like, we know what our clients will and won't pay for, so we're constantly looking for new softwares to try and work out how we can offset price increases and stuff like that. And you know what? £1 a month for a QuickBooks license increase is not the bit that's upsetting them. 9 out of 10 times it's because we've increased all of our pricing in line with inflation and wage increases and all of that good stuff. That's the bit that
they've taken on new employees and they've had to have more feet and more support from us, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas actually, it's very rare that a software price increase is detrimental to our service level, apart from when Dex put their prices up 60% last year.
Yes.
That was detrimental. That was massive, and we had to do a huge exercise to mitigate that. So yeah, but £1 here, £1 there, that's fine. But how many times can you keep stomaching £5 a go before someone turns around and says, well, why am I paying this much for Xero when QuickBooks is this much, Free Agent's this much, Sage is this much? Like, he says, knowing that there's an Apple event tomorrow, and regardless of how much that new Apple iPad Pro is, I am probably going to stomach it.
Exactly. Speaking of which, although before we go on there, just a bit of positive news, I think. Apparently this cost or this increase is going straight into R&D. They've realized that they're a little bit behind in the fact that they're not generating their own AI, so they are going to push it all into R&D. So
no shit, Sherlock.
That'd be good, right? Yeah.
Are you telling me Xero's patented change of font tactic of development isn't actually helping?
Apparently the reason that they've been so slow on development though is because of the old code base, but now they've moved over to the new code base, and that they had and that's why things like Xero Practice Manager, Xero Tax, and Xero HQ has not had any feature development because they were on the old code base. But now they're they're looking to go to the new code base. Everything should be rosier going forward. We'll see. It should do, sure, right?
I mean, but this is exactly why I think we've spoken about this already on the podcast. This is exactly why we've got so many startups doing so well right now, because the likes of QuickBooks, Xero, Dex, Auto Entry, they're all running on 5 to 10 year old code bases, where they've reached the limit of what they can do, and actually spending more time maintaining than they are developing. Whereas people like Apron, Client Engager, etc., coming in, even Sage are coming in on a newer code deck because Sage were later to the game. So Sage's code deck automatically newer and has got a longer life. And then at some point in 5 years' time, probably, Sage's code deck's going to be to the point where they can't really do much more with it without doing a complete replacement. Well, that's all right, because QuickBooks and Xero have already gone through that pain point now, so they'll leapfrog Sage again, and that behavior will just continue happening now. Of constant leapfrogging.
Yeah. And I mean, it's almost like for Sage, them thinking cloud was a fad might have been a benefit to them. Because
in the long run,
they didn't jump straight onto it. So fair play. Just before we go on to the Apple event, let's talk about the fact that Accountex is only 9 days away. We're excited for that one.
Excited.
I have seen our suits for the event as well. They look spectacular.
Hang on a minute. Are we not using the same as last time?
Nope.
Oh, I've got social media posts lined up for tomorrow saying my suit's all ready, washed and ironed, ready to go. Oh, Aaron, you ruined all my fucking plans.
We've got special Accountex ones that have Accountex logos on. They are spectacular. So yeah, we are. Yeah, I mean, you can still show them and tell them that there's new ones coming. But yeah, we're excited for that. We've got some new Top Trumps cards ordered, ready to go. I tested the Formula One rig the other day, so we're ready and waiting to set your fastest laps on there. I'm excited. I'm really excited for this one. We've got some big plans for some guests already lined up. But if you want to be part of the show, make sure you use the links and everything else and get yourself involved and get over to our podcast, because we want to interview you. You're the most important person to get interviewed at this event.
Yeah, definitely. I'm still in shock that we're getting new outfits again. I was quite happy with the last one.
Big reveal, but no, they look spectacular. So yeah, I'm so excited, and yeah, we know where we are now. We've been given the floor space and everything else. So exciting times ahead. Exciting times.
Oh, it's going to be such a good 2 days. Such a good 2 days. We've got so much to go on, like, because we've already been invited to cover some announcements as well. So we will be looking forward to bringing you all the breaking news. So if you're not there, I mean, why not? But if you're not there and you can't make it, keep an eye on all of our social media feeds, both mine, Aaron's, and Ask the Accountants, because we will be posting stuff all day for both days. Like, Lizzie's going on with us. I'm taking Katie, my social media lady, with me. Like, we're going to have so much content from those 2 days that it's going to be phenomenal.
Yep. Grid walk is already. I've already had a few vendors reach out and say, "Oh, do you mind joining the grid walk if you can mention X, Y, Z?" So we've got some announcements to make on the grid walk. So which is better than when we normally turn up to the booth and like, there's no one here. what do we say? So yeah, no, excited. It's going to be a good few days. Good few days indeed. So remember, if you are going to come over to us and say hello, get yourself involved. Another one was a shout out from Tom Herbert. So thank you, Tom, again. Really appreciate it. The best thing that happens on a Friday is the fact they get accounting bites when we get to see what's going on and when we get a little announcement, and that's great to hear. So my announcement was all about the covering of the new updates to QuickBooks banking area. So definitely catch that if you've not catched it, or better yet, just watch the accounting bites episode, because he does it in 10 seconds to 15 seconds, I think he gives us coverage, or however long it is.
Literally like the AI of the accounting news. He just summarizes it so quickly and easily, and then gives you a link if you want to go and spend more time reading about that.
Honestly, you don't need to watch a 25-minute video now. It's already done.
Tom digested it, dealt with it, done in 10 seconds. Move on.
If you could watch in the background though, just to give me some some money,
Keep
but that's fine.
YouTube happy.
So it's much appreciated for that, Tom. Thank you very much. Jonathan says the technology behind is always tricky. You need to continually manage and update that code base. The biggest moves that have been around using the correct underlying tech. Looking forward to see how that all develops. It'll be interesting, won't it? I mean, we need that. We've already said, like, we need that development from zero to push it to the next level, so that QuickBooks and Sage and everyone else can go forward. So the fact that the positivity is that they're going to spend it all on R&D, we like that. Keep doing that. But let's see how quickly their development can go.
Yeah, but I think that's a bit of spin. That's a bit of government spin there. We're going to spend it all on R&D, but how much is that? Because how much of it's not going to transpire, because people are just going to go, no, that's too expensive, we'll move to a different license, we'll downgrade, we'll go to a different provider.
True. Yeah.
So we're going to spend it all on the NHS. Good. But how much is that actually going to transpire to? Because actually there's all these mitigating factors.
Yeah. If it turns into a loss, then that's going to look great for R&D, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, we've got to sell some of those things.
2025, new products.
We committed to using our thing to R&D, so start selling some stuff to make it work. And Paul says it should be center stage. I feel like, honestly, like the fact that we get to just have a booth there, we feel honored to be part of it. Final then is Apple event. We have literally 14 hours to go until the event itself. 15 hours. I mean, it's upsetting that it's in the middle of the day for us. I can just imagine you in the middle of your meal now.
3:00 tomorrow, isn't it?
Yeah.
UK
I can imagine you in the middle of your meal now being like, just 1 second.
Sorry, Amy. Apple's talking.
Tim Cook's just come on stage.
Yeah. That headphone you've got in your hand, yes, I'm listening to Tim Cook.
No, glasses. That's the beauty of it.
That's true. Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited by this one. Like, I'm hoping for a whole new iPad Pro. I'm hoping that the camera is in the right place for the first time ever. For those that aren't aware, most people use their iPads in landscape mode, which means the camera's to one side or the other. Apple tried to fix this with some software magic beans that help center you.
To stage.
Yeah, the center stage, it doesn't work. So no, it's I'm looking forward to this one because my iPad, it's fine, but there's a lot of speculation about the chip that's going to come with this new one. And if it's the M4, which is what everyone's saying it will be, that's meant to be their AI chip. And when you look at all of these new AI tools, like I've tried using Spark Email for months and months and really just not got anywhere with it. I've tried using a calendar app called Motion, and again, just not really got anywhere with it. But when I think about it, the reason is it's not built into the ecosystem, so it doesn't talk to everything. So, one of the things I absolutely love about Apple Mail is I go onto a website, it insists on two-factor authentication, so it emails me a code. Apple goes, there's a code there, that will go there. I'll give him the option to click to say yes. That's a beautiful ecosystem, and you lose even those little benefits when you use other email providers, whatever it is. So my theory is that this actually could be one of the biggest AI steps forward and actual integration and using it into day-to-day life that we've seen to date. So last week we spoke about Copilot and Microsoft, and you were saying like now it's embedded in there, you're using it so much more, but even that's limited to the Microsoft ecosystem.
Yeah, agreed.
Microsoft haven't got phones and tablets and devices of any worth. Whereas could you imagine having Apple AI or whatever they're going to call it, Siri Pro or whatever they want to call it, on every single device, where it because it's built into Apple Mail, it automatically summarizes emails as part of the notification it gives you, instead of just giving you the first 3 lines or the subject. And there's just so much that it could do alongside Siri that I'm properly excited for this. Whether we're going to get that announced tomorrow or that comes in June with WDC event, I don't know, but this is the most excited I've been for Apple software in a long time. Like, there's a lot of speculation about how it's going to improve notes, calendar, reminders. Apparently, reminders and calendar is going to become one of the same thing. They'll still have separate apps if you want them to, but one of the same for functionality. And mail, like, if this could go well, if they do this well, this could be very powerful, and it could have been worth the wait.
100%. I do feel like we have to taper our expectations for the software side of things. I think you're right. I think that's going to be WWDC that we'll hear all about this, right? And that's when it's going to come out. But knowing that we'll have the device that can make the most of it, that's going to be exciting. And looking at my iPad now, if they do fix that hardware issue of the camera, maybe they add a bit of MagSafe, maybe they give us an opportunity to have a better keyboard, then that could be exciting.
All speculated, better pencil as well.
And OLED screen potentially.
OLED screen, that will help. I mean, the battery life in an iPad Pro is mental anyway, but an OLED screen is only going to make that better.
Especially one thing that I will say about the iPad that's always been a little bit frustrating is the fact that, and I'm the worst for it because I'm the biggest culprit, but they sell me a dream and I buy the dream and that dream doesn't always get, well, I'm looking at it now, it's never got materialized. So we'll see how it goes. In my ideal world, I'd love this to replace my MacBook Air, right? If this could be that one device that could do it all. I did a video on this 4 years ago now, whatever it was, how iPad could be the one device to do it all. Again, I was trying to sell the dream that was sold to me. it never quite worked in that way. But I feel like this is an opportunity for that to happen. If it could be the best productivity device for accountants if they can nail the software side, isn't it? And I don't think we'll know that until WWDC. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to get excited about tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. 35 minutes, I think they said it was. So
yeah, not long enough to announce quite a few bits, I think.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, my Pro and my iPad Pro and its keyboard do replace my iPad Air most of the time. Like my MacBook Pro lives on my desk 9 out of 10 times. It's only when I'm away for a few days at a time that I take it with me.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to come and get it over the weekend because my iPad Pro couldn't do something, but that wasn't the iPad's fault. That's bloody QuickBooks. So you still can't open QuickBooks Payroll Advanced on an iPad. So
interesting.
Window.
Payroll Bureau can do it, wouldn't it? It'd be interesting to see.
I've got no confidence in that. Because the thing is, until I mentioned this last year to them, they weren't aware it was an issue.
No, well, that's because no one was using it, right? Like again, where they need to have that proper beta testing of all different types of ecosystems and all sorts, isn't it? So,
well, actually, that's a lie. I say the lead product team didn't know it was an issue. QuickBooks support were fully aware of it. They always said, "Yeah, that won't happen like that. You'll need to do it on a PC or laptop device." Right? Okay. Completely brand new news to the lead product team.
If they brought Mac OS to the iPad, which is a massive if, I'm not sure they ever would, but if they did, that would solve all the problems, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Sue's joined us. She's very lost today because
Bye, Sue.
Bye, Sue. Yeah, we're finishing today because it is a bank holiday. LinkedIn user says AI equals Apple Intelligence. Yep, exactly. And then Light says, "Hi guys, do you know how to post a bank balance into Xero via Journal?" Tell you what, we will save that question for next week because we are already over time. I've got a train to catch. But the best person to ask that would be Sue herself. So maybe Sue answer that question for you. She is Mrs. Mrs. Xero, and the best Xero trainer out there. So yeah, you're in good hands. Right then, I think we need to. Well, I need to get myself to London. Seems as though there is train strikes everywhere, so that'll be fun for us all. Johann, what you got planned for the rest of the day, rest of the week, other than nip into London tomorrow for a quick lunch?
London tomorrow for a quick lunch. Wednesday is our first new Client Engager live session where we will be going live, but instead of going into a Facebook community group that we've always done for the last year plus, where we do it every week, we're now going to be doing it on Zoom, so everyone can be involved. So yeah, that'll be exciting. And then I'm basically just trying to get everything done ready for next week when I go to Accountex.
Yeah.
I lose 4 days of my life next week to Accountex. So my wife's already planned her Gusto box delivery with all the things that I don't like, so she's very happy. I've already planned that I'm going to be sat in the same Lebanese restaurant 4 nights in a row.
Should we pre-book it just to be safe?
Yeah, we will be just getting stuff ready, sorting the kit out and charging all the batteries, ready to go next week.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan. And Cheryl's already applied to Light and says you can't post journals to bank accounts. We can in QuickBooks, so we'll leave it
so
at
you
that.
can in QuickBooks. So the answer is get QuickBooks.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us on a Bank Holiday Monday. Very much appreciate it. Hopefully this time next week we will talk to you all about the world of Accountex and what we know and everything else. We'll do a little preview event for it going forward. Yeah. All right, buddy. Thank you very much. Speak to you all soon. And bye for now.
Goodbye.